Hello, and welcome to the demo for Starship Simulator. Let's just jump into our first training module. I was originally going to do the first scenario that they had, but they set it up weird so that it takes you, I think it was 4 days to get to the location they want you to. While she talks to us.
Welcome to the Magellan-class scanning and navigation training module. My name is Ava. I'm the UN Space Fleet's AI voice assistant.
Different views.
In this module, we will review the correct procedure for identifying targets of interest, and then navigating the ship to the desired location. To begin, proceed to the ship's bridge. I have placed some waypoints on your HUD to help you find your way.
And then we have a flashlight. To the bridge.
Welcome to the bridge. This is the ship's nerve center, where you have command and control over any ship system. Right now we're interested in the sensors, so make your way over to that console and take a seat.
I guess we're here in the galaxy.
This station is responsible for scanning space around the ship and highlighting any targets of interest for the command staff. Before we perform any scans, however, let's take a look at the different sensor modes available to us. The Galactic Position Mode makes use of the standard UN Galactic Positioning System and simply shows us our location relative to the Milky Way galaxy. The Stellar Region Mode employs the long-range sensors to detect information about star systems within a 50 light-year radius of the ship.
System.
The Star System Mode uses the short-range sensors to provide a more detailed overview of the star system we are currently in, with a maximum range of about 1 light-year. Go ahead and press that button now.
Boop.
The range controls allow you to fine-tune the display range of the sensors, which makes it easier to focus on particular objects of interest, or to gain a high-level overview of the current star system. The central panel lists all of the valid objects in range, which you can click on to select as a target. Go ahead and click a few different targets now.
Let's see. Before we click on that, it looks like we are at Earth. Yeah, the third ring, it looks like. And then this is our solar system. We should look at Mars or Jupiter. Mars.
You'll notice that the target information panel displays more detailed information about your selected target. Once you are happy with your selection, press the Send to Helm button to make the target coordinates available to the Helm console for navigation.
So this is mostly where we pick our target, and then I'm guessing the helm is where we say go. So send our destination.
Now head over to the Helm console and take a seat. From here, we will navigate the ship to your chosen target. Let's begin by taking a quick look at the various screens available to the helm. The left-hand display is dedicated to navigation and shows both the ship's current galactic position along with its target destination coordinates. The central display deals with the flight controls themselves, including the FTL system, sublight engines, and reaction control thrusters. The right-hand screen features the autopilot controls, toggles for the 3D target indicators, and the ship's navigation lights. Okay, let's retrieve the target information from the sensors by pressing the Use Sensor Target button on the navigation panel.
There you go.
Your target coordinates should now be displayed in this box, which represents your current nav target. The galactic coordinates represent the target's position in the galaxy to the nearest whole light year. The coordinates are relative to the center of our galaxy,
I don't think
the supermassive black hole known as Sagittarius A star. The local coordinates represent the target's position within a star system. The coordinates are relative to the system's center of gravity, which is usually a star, or the barycenter in multi-star systems. While it is possible to fly the ship manually to any location in the galaxy, let's engage the autopilot for now, so that I can take care of that for you. Go ahead and press the highlighted button on the right-hand screen.
Yes, ma'am.
The ship will now automatically turn to face the current nav target, but you will need to manually engage the FTL system in order for us to get underway. You can now engage the FTL system when you are ready.
Controlling where it's pointed, it isn't automatically sending me. Engage.
While the autopilot is engaged, I will manage the ship's speed and final approach to the target coordinates, so just sit back and enjoy the ride. The FTL system works by compressing space ahead of the ship, and then expanding it behind, creating a bubble of warped space with the ship at its center.
I'm actually going to zoom out.
The compressed space amplifies the ship's current velocity by a factor of the FTL field strength, so the ship's sublight engines are still used to provide the required thrust. The maximum speed of the ship is therefore a combination of the FTL field strength and the thrust output of the sublight engines.
So here we are, now at Mars.
For the Magellan class, this is approximately 300 light-years per hour. Okay, it looks like we have arrived at the target coordinates. Now that we've seen what the ship can do over a relatively short distance, let's pick a target that's much further away.
What was this?
This time we're going to use the long-range sensors. Go ahead and press the Stellar Region button to view our local... As before, you can use the display range buttons to increase or reduce the number of displayed objects, depending on your needs. If you click between a few of the objects in range, you'll notice that none of them have any detailed information yet. This is because a sensor scan is required. Let's take a closer look at our nearest neighbor.
Look at a lot of them.
Click on Alpha Centauri, and then click the Scan Target button.
I'm going to zoom this out and then get back up. Because this is obviously based off of Star Trek, I believe. Yeah, there it is. Wolf 359. Then there's another one through here. Tau Ceti, there it is. So, get in the chair, click Alpha Centauri, and then scan it.
You'll notice that the Target Information panel now gives us a high-level overview of the targeted system, including important data points, such as the extent of the habitable zone. This information can be used to determine if a star system is worth closer inspection. For example, if a planet exists in the habitable zone, you'll need to use the short-range sensors from within the system itself to determine if that planet can truly support life. Select one of the planets in the system that you'd like to take a closer look at, and then press center helm as we did before.
So we have 3 planets with potential life, and then 2 gas dwarfs, and 1 G-class star in the middle. We will go to the furthest from the planet. Orbit distance 1.6. Yeah. We'll go to the furthest.
Now return to the helm console and take a seat once again. Press the Use Sensor Target button again on the navigation panel to set our new nav target.
Sensor.
Now engage the autopilot again to orient the ship to the new target coordinates.
Autopilot.
And now, engage the FTL system.
There you go.
Our previous journey was merely interplanetary, but we're now leaving the Sol system behind and entering interstellar space.
Oh,
the Milky Way galaxy is a vast and mysterious place, where even light takes over 4 years to reach our nearest stellar neighbor. Thanks to recent breakthroughs in FTL technology, however, we can now make that same journey in around 1 minute. Even so, at our maximum speed of 300 light-years per hour, it will still take over 2 full weeks to fly from one side of the galaxy to the other. That's a distance in excess of 100,000 light-years.
Damn.
Our galaxy contains hundreds of billions of star systems that are waiting to be explored, in addition to countless other stellar phenomena that we don't even have names for yet. This ship and her crew are tasked with exploring distant new worlds, seeking out new life in all of its diversity, and making peaceful first contact with any intelligent species that are encountered along the way.
This being down and this being up.
The galaxy can also be a dangerous and unforgiving place, So as we tread cautiously into the unknown,
It's even
we should remain
animated.
mindful of any potential dangers lurking in the dark. We're not far from our destination now, so sit back and enjoy the view while I handle the final approach.
Okay. I really like this map, actually. I don't know how I feel about the giant whole galaxy map. This one, I don't know if I like this. I would rather there be like little tiny dots representing all the stars here, rather than this weird 2D foggy, I don't know, what is it called? A sprite image? But here we are at the system. Ava?
Okay, here we are. You are now looking at an entirely new world, bathed in the light of another star. At this distance, our home is now just another point of light in the darkness of space. Does life exist here? What new things can we discover on this world? These are the questions that this ship was designed to answer. This concludes the scanning and navigation training module. You are free to continue exploring if you wish, but please be aware that your progress will not be saved. Thank you, and goodbye.
I actually will be checking out a little bit more of the ship. I wanted to... Yellow alert. Red alert. Does it flash? Yeah, that's cool. Emergency lighting. Oh, that's spooky. I don't know why. This stresses me out. Oh, that is spooky. Oh, I can't even see where I'm going. Oh, I think it was just because this, but it looked like the hallway was endless. Oh man, this is scary. What? So let's see what's throughout the ship. Is this pressable? Oh yeah. Hold on. Nope. Ah, fuck. But I can also pick up items. Can I break this? No. This is... There you go. The sustenance room. Let's take... Oh, does this mean something? Is this code? This feels like it might be something. Oh, it's not anymore. This is the lift. No button, so it can't take me anywhere. This is cool. I like this little half wall. This would probably be like the captain's quarters. Let's see. Staterooms, bathrooms. I think I was in the galley. Storage is where all the... Oh, you can even see them on the map. That's cool. And then this is where I came down. Habitation. I remember there's nothing on here. Habitation. Engineering is where things get cool. Let's see. Battery room, battery room. I feel like there's more here than this. Let's see what cryogenic storage is, and if I can get to the reactor. So, in, right, past the other one, cryogenic. So, in, to the right, and then cryo storage should be this room. Ooh, yeah, this is cool. Whoa, it does stuff. What happens if I turn it? This is cool. Helium coolant. Helium coolant. Deuterium fuel tank. Deuterium fuel tank. Helium-3. Okay, so they're different. It's regular helium and then helium-3. And then deuterium. But helium-3, I think, is the thing they use for testing fission reactors in real life. Those big purple plasma reactors. Okay, how do I get into this reactor room? Ooh. So this would essentially be the warp core. I'm glad they did it different enough from Star Trek to be its own thing, actually. Do you do anything? No? We finished the first tutorial. Let's go and do the second.
Welcome to the Magellan-class Cold Start training module. My name is Ava. I'm the UN Space Fleet's AI voice assistant. In this module, we will review the correct procedure for starting up the ship's fusion reactor and then supplying power to the vessel. The ship is currently in a cold and dark state, so for your safety, I have taken the liberty of turning on your torch for you.
You mean creepy and dark?
To begin, follow the waypoints on your HUD to the lower floor of the reactor room.
I'm definitely not supposed to be here. Whoa, is this a shuttle bay? Whoa! Oh! Oh! Oh my gosh, I fell out. Okay. Let's, do what Ava is telling us to do. This is upstairs. I need to go down to engineering. Oh my god, this is actually spooking me right now. I feel like this is Alien. Like a xenomorph is gonna jump out at me out of nowhere. This is F deck, right? Yeah. Here's the reactor room. Going to the first floor.
As you can see, the reactor is offline, and none of the ship's systems are powered.
Yep.
Our first task is to provide power to the engineering decks, so let's make our way to the start capacitor's room.
Oh my god, this is spooking me
Follow
so
the
much.
waypoints on your HUD to the startup distributor.
Hallucinating that things are on the shelves. Not shelves, on the different floors. Follow your to startup distributor. Why is this all the way back here?
As its name suggests, the startup distributor routes energy from the start capacitors to the engineering decks, and also provides the reactor with the power it needs to create the initial fusion reaction.
Cool.
You'll notice the device is already powered, because the start capacitors are fully charged. Let's go ahead and get some lights on by connecting all of the breakers. Start with the G-deck breakers, as indicated.
This one? This one? This one? This one?
And now the F-deck breakers.
This one? This one? This one? This one?
And finally, the reactor supply itself.
So, startup supply, reactor startup supply. So is this like I turned all of this on to get power to start the reactor?
Excellent. Now we can see what we're doing. You can go ahead and turn off your torch by pressing T. The reactor controls should now be online, so let's walk back to the reactor room and take a look.
This is just a cube sitting here. And I can't pick it up. Is this supposed to be a chair? I don't like this lighting. Oh yeah, this is creepy. This feels like a horror game.
This console displays the reactor's vital information and provides you with full control over the reactor and its subsystems. On the left-hand side we have the coolant section, which shows the liquid helium coolant flow and the condition of the magnetic field coils.
Oh, I saw the coolant earlier.
On the right-hand side we have the electrical section, which shows the reactor's main electrical bus, along with its input and output feeds. In the center, we have the reactor's main display, where we can control the fusion reaction itself. As you can see from all of these alarms, it would be impossible to initiate a stable fusion reaction under the current conditions, so let's fix that. The first thing we need to do is supply power to the reactor's internal bus, so go ahead and switch the reactor to startup mode by pressing the indicated button.
Go into startup.
Great. Now that the reactor has power, we can activate the vacuum pump to start purging the confinement chamber.
Purge the confinement.
The chamber pressure should now be dropping. To sustain a fusion reaction, we need an internal pressure of less than 10 nanopascals. While we wait for the confinement chamber to reach its target pressure, let's take care of the reactor's fuel and coolant supplies. Exit the reactor room via the door behind you, and follow the waypoints on your HUD to the...
Yeah, I've been here before.
These storage tanks hold all of the cryogenic fluids that are used to both fuel and cool the reactor. All 4 tanks are currently empty, so our first task is to begin the filling process. Let's start with the helium coolant. Head behind the storage tanks to access the helium Cryocooler. The cryocoolers use a process called magnetic refrigeration to convert gas into a cryogenic fluid, before pumping it into the connected storage tank. Start up the helium Cryocooler now by using the indicated control on its user interface.
Turn on.
Excellent. Now if you turn around, you'll find the helium refill valve located on the back wall. These valves control the flow of gases harvested by the ship's gas collection hardware, which is located on the underside of the forward hull. Go ahead and open the helium supply valve now to begin supplying the cryocooler with helium gas.
But they all kind of just go to the same place. But the 2 in the middle aren't plugged in. You see that? Right? Hold on. Yeah, they aren't plugged in. Don't make that noise. That was spooky. Oh, this one.
If you turn around again and inspect the display screen connected to the helium tank, you should be able to confirm that the tank is now filling with fluid. We now need to perform the same sequence of events for the other 3 tanks. Helium-3 is the first of 2 fuels used in the fusion reaction. As before, power up the device using its user interface. And now open the helium-3 refill valve behind you to start filling its associated tank. Next, we need to start filling the 2 deuterium tanks. So let's head over to the other side of the room.
Okay, I was like, I don't think anything is happening. I don't think anything is happening. Did I mess up? Is it filling now? Yes. So these ones... Are you filling up now? Yes. There needs to be a better indicator of what is happening. Because these are open right now. I guess it makes sense that the lit one would be what's happening. But still. Put a green dot or something. Deuterium.
Deuterium, also known as heavy hydrogen, is the second of the 2 fusion fuels. We store double the amount of deuterium compared to helium-3, because deuterium also fuels the reactor's neutral beam injectors. As before, turn on the first deuterium cryocooler.
Turn on this one. Turn you on.
And now the first deuterium refill valve behind you.
Turn. Okay. The lit one implies to me that it is open. So right now it is closed.
Next, turn on the second deuterium cryocooler.
And then now it is open? Now turn you on.
And now the second deuterium refill valve.
And now you.
Okay, perfect. All 4 storage tanks should now be filling with cryogenic fluids. For our next task, we now need to engage the cryopumps in order to start supplying the reactor with everything it needs.
Yeah.
Make your way around to the other side of the tanks and locate the deuterium tank outflow valve.
So we go back around. What do you say? PPP required. I don't think I'm wearing any of that.
Open the deuterium outflow valve to begin supplying fluid to its connected cryopump.
Sure.
Next, power on the pump itself using the button indicated on its user interface.
Use that.
Excellent. That's half of the fuel mix taken care of. Now head over to the helium-3 tank outflow valve so we can complete the fuel supply.
This definitely doesn't do what you're telling me. There's nothing here.
As before, begin by opening the helium-3 outflow valve.
Open.
And now engage the helium-3 cryopump.
Open.
Perfect. All we have to do now is take care of the coolant flow. Head over to the helium tank outflow valve. Now open the helium outflow valve.
Open.
And finally, power on the helium...
Open.
There we go. The reactor is now being supplied with all the fuel and coolant it needs. Follow the waypoints back to the reactor room, where we have just...
There you go.
To complete the coolant loop, open the helium inflow valve to start flowing coolant through the magnetic field coils.
See, lit tells me that it is open.
Now make your way around to the opposite side of the reactor to complete the fuel supply process.
Over here?
First, open the deuterium inflow valve.
Open. You.
And now open the helium-3 inflow valve.
And you.
Okay, great. Let's head over to the reactor controls and take a look at the coolant display. As you can see, we now have coolant flowing into the reactor. This has begun the process of cooling down the magnetic field coils, which must reach temperatures below 20 Kelvin in order to become superconductive.
So they're getting close.
Okay, the temperatures look good. You can now power up the field coils.
Turn you on.
With a solid vacuum established, the field coils powered up, and fuel flowing into the reactor, you are now free to initiate the fusion reaction.
There you go.
Congratulations!
Nice.
You have now successfully started the fusion reactor. For safety, the reactor automatically starts up at only 10% of its rated power. This means high voltage systems, such as the FTL drive, will be underpowered until you increase the reactor output. Let's resolve that now. Increase the power level to 100% using the indicated controls.
Okay, the way she said that, does that mean the FTL is running at 10% now? Or did she say it would have to be at a higher percent for the FTL to even turn on? Anyway,
You'll notice
we'll do
that
what
you
she
can increase
says.
the power beyond 100%, but doing so for an extended period will overheat the reactor, causing damage and forcing an uncontrolled shutdown. Okay, we now need to provide power to the rest of the ship. With the reactor now powering itself, you can go ahead and switch the internal bus mode from startup to supply.
There you go.
Perfect. If we now head around to the opposite side of the reactor output distributor should now be powered up. This device distributes the reactor's output to the ship's high voltage systems, which are in fact the only systems powered directly by the reactor. The rest of the ship is powered by 48 individual battery arrays, which we now need to begin charging using the reactor's output. Go ahead and connect all 5 of the output breakers here.
Boop. Boop. Boop.
Excellent. If you turn to your left, you'll see the 5 high voltage distributors are now coming online. Head over to the main battery distributor. This device takes the high voltage reactor feed and distributes it to each of the 8 battery rooms on F deck. Go ahead and connect all 8 output breakers.
Boop. 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 Boop.
Perfect. The battery arrays should now be charging, but we should perform a visual inspection to make sure.
I'm looking at it.
Follow the waypoints on your HUD to port battery room 1.
Okay. Battery room 1. This ended up being a lot more technical than I thought.
The electrical
Like if you're
supply on
putting me in a
Magellan-class
combat
starships is
situation and
divided into
expect
4
me to
isolated
remember all of
quadrants.
this,
Forward, aft, port,
I hate
and
to tell you,
starboard.
Ava, it's not going to happen.
For increased redundancy, each quadrant is powered by 2 physically isolated battery rooms just like this one. Should the battery arrays in one room cease to function for any reason, the arrays in the second room will continue providing power to that particular quadrant. Similarly, power to one quadrant can be lost entirely, without impacting the supply to the remaining 3 quadrants. Okay, let's take a look at one of the individual battery arrays.
Everything is telling me it's about to run out. In like 10 to 50 minutes. Look at this.
On the left-hand side of the user interface, you have controls for managing the input and output breakers. And in the center, you have controls and information relating to this array's 10 solid-state battery cells. If we did everything correctly, all of the cells should now be slowly charging up.
Yep.
For the next step, we now need to connect each of the 8 battery rooms to the ship's electrical grid. This task will take us into the ship's labyrinth of maintenance tunnels, so be sure to watch your head.
Ooh.
Follow the waypoints on your HUD to port battery aggregator.
I don't think I've ever seen the concept of like maintenance ducts in video games before.
Each battery room has a corresponding battery aggregator, just like this one. These devices perform load balancing and also combine each room's 6 individual battery arrays into a single high voltage feed. Go ahead and connect the output breaker now, which will connect this set of battery arrays to the ship's electrical grid. Okay, 1 down
So
and
the
7
storage
more
has
to
been
go.
connected to everything.
Next, head over to port battery aggregator 2. As before, connect this aggregator's output breaker.
There you go.
That takes care of the port battery rooms. Let's make our way to the forward quadrant next. Go ahead and connect the
Next
output,
one.
and the same again on forward battery aggregator 2.
There you go.
Okay, onwards to the starboard quadrant.
Like, if you expect me to remember all this battery stuff, I don't think it's
Same
gonna
again.
happen.
Connect the output breaker. And the second starboard
Maybe if
aggregator.
I had a map that was like, these 4 corners of this circle are aggregators, and then there's a duct on, I'm guessing, two or four parts of this crosshatch in the middle.
Almost done. Just the aft quadrant to go. Connect up the first and finally the second aft aggregator.
Last one?
Okay, perfect. All 48 of the ship's battery arrays are now connected to the electrical grid.
Nice.
All we have to do now is supply power to the ship's remaining decks, and then perform a few cleanup tasks.
Whoa.
We can do most of that from the reactor room, so let's head there now. Follow the waypoints on your HUD to the forward deck distributor.
Oh, we're back in the core.
Each deck in a given quadrant is fed by a deck distributor, which takes the total electrical load of that quadrant, and then load balances it between the two connected battery aggregators. Go ahead and connect the output breakers for all 7 decks in this quadrant.
Connect. Oh, and there's lights off to the right. Those are pretty cool. Oh, I did it in the wrong order, so now it's punishing me.
Okay, now head over to the starboard deck distributor and do the same.
Wow, this is a lot of button pressing.
And now the aft deck distributor.
Here.
And finally, the port deck distributor.
Yep. I mean, it's a lot of buttons. Definitely feels like this could be like
Perfect.
2.
All quadrants on every deck now have power available from the ship's main battery arrays. You'll notice, however, that the ship is still under emergency lighting conditions, because F and G decks are still using the start capacitor's supply. To resolve this, we simply have to switch the 4 quadrant distributors on F and G decks over to the main battery feed. Head over to the G deck forward quadrant. Each deck has 4 of these devices, 1 for each quadrant. They are fed by the corresponding deck distributor. Go ahead and switch this quadrant. That's better. Now we can really see what we're doing. Now head over to the starboard quadrant distributor and do the same.
Just turn this on.
And now the aft quadrant distributor.
Oh my gosh, I get it. We press the buttons for each of the areas.
And finally, the port quadrant distributor. That's G deck taken care of. Let's do the same for F deck. Head upstairs to the F deck forward quadrant distributor. As before, and now the same on the starboard quadrant distributor. And again on the aft quadrant distributor. And finally, the port quadrant distributor. Well done. That's the main objectives of the cold start procedure complete. But we have one final bonus task to perform. Follow the waypoints on your HUD up to the bridge, and we'll make the ship flight ready.
So this is the thing I clicked when I first got to down there, telling it all to start up. So we have like a startup battery, and then we started everything up, and now we are going off of the batteries from the helium deuterium system. Where am I going? Oh, the bridge. Ooh, are these pick-upable? Yeah. Yeah. Take this, warp. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's find the bridge. Oh, it's dark.
The lights and bridge systems are still turned off, so let's bring everything online. Head over to the A deck distributor. Now go ahead and turn on the bridge and... Okay, there we go. You have successfully started the
Nice.
fusion reactor, routed power to all of the ship's decks, and brought the bridge online into a flight-ready state.
I sure did.
This concludes the Magellan-class Cold Start training module. Good luck, and I hope you'll join me again in future training modules.
Thank you. I guess that concludes the demo for Starship Simulator. There is a first mission that you can play, but I'll put it up here. I started it and I headed towards the object on auto navigation, and it still told me I had like 4 in-game days to make it there. So maybe it's like an Easter egg. You get there and there's like the next ship that they're adding or something. But I just wanted to check out the basic functions, what the actual gameplay was going to be. I think if they turn this less like maybe something like Shipbreakers, or there's one game that I watched Splitsy play on his channel where it was like, in order to replace this wire, you have to go to this system and turn this off, and this system and turn this off, and then you have to cut the wire at this place and this place. Then you put in a new wire, like a proper technical procedure. I think if Starship Simulator goes in that direction, it's probably not going to do very well. But if it goes in the direction of maybe like Among Us used to have, I haven't played it in a long time, but it used to have those little mini games that are the tasks that you have to do as an innocent or whatever. I think if they go in that direction, and even with the current system setup, I think it could be really cool if it's like, hold on, say there was an unknown entity heading towards the bridge, but it hadn't got there yet, and it was like feeding off of the energy of the lighting that was shining on it, turning off the A-deck lighting, and then maybe like the hardware turns off the doors so it's trapped, so it's not getting the power at once and it can't get anywhere. Using this system to do something like that would be cool. Or like if the distributors, I don't know, you have 30 seconds or they're all gonna blow up, you could like boo, boo, and then the forward deck and the port deck would be protected. But the game has a good idea set out. I like that it's kind of obviously based off of Star Trek. Like, tell me this isn't a Miranda just missing something. I guess the nacelles. And some of the Mirandas had the little guns sitting off the side or the neck of it or whatever. But anyways, thank you for watching. I'm really excited to see if they actually end up doing something with this game, because unfortunately too many early access games recently just end up being cancelled. But I hope you enjoyed. I guess bye bye.